What's good, D.N.A fan? It's your boy Dave. Welcome to the channel. I am back with another video. Now, before we even begin, let me put this disclaimer out there. This video is not intended to disrespect or talk negatively about the Glock brand, Glock lovers, owners, and those alike. This is merely just an expression of my opinion and understanding how influential gun manufacturers such as the Glock brand have been in the hip-hop community. So with that being said, let's get right on into it. So growing up as a teenager in the 90s, there were rap verses, or there were actually lyrics in a song that had me curious about handguns. Just to give you an example of that, Nas on It Was Written was talking about a Desert Eagle. Eazy-E talks about the use of a Smith & Wesson on Real Compton City G's. Tupac has used the Glock numerous times in some of his verses, but the one that stood out to me and resonated the most with me was probably in 1993. I was 14 years old, listening to Ready to Die by Biggie Smalls. I probably shouldn't have been listening to it, but yeah, I was 14 years old. Ready to Die had come out, and this one particular song, he starts off by saying, "As I grab the Glock, put it to your headpiece, run in the chamber, the safety is off release." Like, that verse has resonated with me, and it was then my curiosity for understanding what a Glock was grew. Now, the funny thing is if you actually go back and listen to the song, he mentions a Glock multiple times. I think I counted like at least 3 different times he mentions the Glock. And so back then, that was, from my understanding, the cool gun to have. Now, I wasn't into guns, I wasn't into firearms, but I knew some people who knew some people, or, you know, who was just into that lifestyle. And it was Glock, 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 Glock. You know, fast forward 2 years later, I decided to take an interest into the firearms. And one of the questions that I started asking folks, you know, what gun should I get? Everybody was pointing to a Glock. Now, when I asked people, well, why should I get a Glock? No one could really tell me why. They were just saying, get a Glock. Now, I'm not a one to be a follower. I'm more so I like to create and define my own path. So I opted not for a block, I opted not to get a Glock, but my first handgun was actually a Smith & Wesson. I bought the M&P 2.0 9mm handgun. Loved it. Have no complaints on it. Okay. Now, I wanted another handgun. So I go out. Same thing. I get a Glock, get a Glock. I don't want a Glock. So my second pistol I actually bought was the 6 Hour. I bought a 6 Hour P226 MK25. Love it. Okay. No complaints. You know, one of the better firearms that I own. And from what I've heard, you know, it's a great firearm. Now, here we go again. I go out and get another pistol. Everybody's saying Glock, 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 but not why. Now, I went and did my own research before I actually shot a Glock, and the biggest thing that I found was that Glocks were extremely reliable and durable. So that meant that, you know, I could toss the Glock into a freezer, pull it out, throw a mag up in, fire off some rounds, would have no issue. Toss it in the pool, grab it out of the pool, fire it off, throw it in mud, sand, blah, 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 blah. Everybody talks about how durable and dependable and reliable Glocks are. Okay, cool. I actually went and shot a Glock for the very first time, and I did find it very easy to shoot, and I was quite impressed. So with that being said, I went on ahead and purchased the Gen 3 Glock 19. So, like I said, I plotted, well, first, let's do a safety check. Empty. Drop the mag. Nothing in the mag. Now, this is the Gen 3 Glock 19. I swore for years that I would never buy a Glock. But I think I got it just to say, yeah, I own a Glock. And not because I literally wanted one. I think a lot of people go out and buy Glocks, or buy, you know, Glocks for their first gun, because again, they're told that they're easy to shoot, that they're durable, they're reliable, which as I mentioned before, those are key characteristics you definitely want in a gun. But I also think that learning how to properly shoot, learning how to shoot, period, regardless of whatever gun you decide to get, CZ, the M&P, the H&K, the list goes on, you will become more proficient with it, you know, through the use of training. So again, regardless if it's a Glock or not, I think training will ultimately decide, you know, how well in maintenance, you know, how well you do with your firearm. So yeah, you know, I'll be taking it out to the range and firing off a couple of rounds. But you know, again, I just wanted to mention how, you know, hip hop has a way of defining certain things when it comes to, you know, it's like free advertising. Because I don't think Biggie got a contract from, you know, Glock about promoting the Glock 17, or I don't think, you know, Eazy-E got a contract from Smith & Wesson talking about, you know, the use of that handgun in his rap lyrics. So I think, you know, hip hop has influenced a lot of manufacturers, whether it's gun or, to give you another example, a lot of alcoholic beverages, champagnes, wines, vodkas, all influenced from hip hop artists. You know, early in the late 90s, early 2000s, you had Jay-Z promoting Belvedere vodka.
6 bottles of Chris, 4 Belvederes.
You know, Belvy and Cristal. Like in the early 2000s, Belvy was the vodka to get. Why? Because Jay-Z said so. You know, fast forward, then you have, you know, Ciroc. Puffy came out and is endorsed and put his hands on Ciroc. Ciroc has been big for years now. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then, you know, the funny thing is with the Casamigos, or the Casamigos, it's been out for a while, but George Clooney, you know, put a stamp on it. Now everybody's flocking to go get it. But, you know, this tequila has been out for years. So, you know, it's funny how, you know, rappers or hip hop has a way of influencing, you know, various things. But anyway, that's all my time. Again, this conversation, this topic can go, you know, so far deep, and you know, that wasn't the whole intention of, you know, me doing this video. It was just merely me talking about, you know, how influential hip hop was when it came to my decision making of, you know, wanting a firearm, and thinking back to growing up, how a lot of the rap artists talked about the use of certain weapons. You know, again, Tech 9 was real big back then, Desert Eagle, 45s, everything 9mm, regardless of the brand, like, you know, 9mm, you know, sawed-off shotgun. Like, you know, hip hop has had a major influence when it comes to a lot of gun manufacturers and things. So anyway, yeah, that's all my time, man. I'm gonna get some B footage, or I'm gonna actually go to the range and fire off a couple rounds and compare, you know, the versus empty, took the mag out, but, you know, compare my SIG, the Smith, compared to the Gen 3 Glock 19. So anyway, with that being said, D.N.A. out.